Time is not money as culture defines it. Time is life's primary currency, and money is only the evidence of time obeyed or abused. Let me submit to you today that the greatest deception of modern civilization is not poverty of income, but ignorance of time. Because when you misunderstand time, money becomes your master instead of your servant. I want to challenge your thinking immediately. Because most people are working hard, waking up early, staying up late, exhausting themselves, yet never becoming wealthy in purpose, peace, or legacy. And the reason is not laziness. The reason is not lack of opportunity. The reason is wrong thinking. You see, the manufacturer never creates without purpose. And whatever the manufacturer designs, he designs to function within time. Time is not neutral. Time is not passive. Time is the container in which purpose is either fulfilled or wasted. You were not born by accident, and you were not born outside of time. You were born on schedule. That means your life is a timed assignment, not an endless rehearsal. The tragedy of our generation is that we were taught how to make a living, but never taught how to manage life. We were trained to chase money, but never educated to govern time. So we end up confusing activity with achievement, busyness with productivity, and income with impact. Let me say this carefully. Money is not everything, but everything responds to how you treat time. Money simply reveals whether time is being honored or abused. Poverty, therefore, is not first a financial condition. Poverty is a time disorder. When a person wastes time, money eventually leaves them. When a person honors time, money eventually follows them. This is why two people can earn the same salary, live in the same city, have the same education, yet end up with completely different outcomes. One respected time, the other tolerated distraction. The manufacturer says that where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable, and the most abused resource on earth is time. We protect money, we insure property, we lock doors, we guard phones, but we give time away to people who add no value, conversations that produce no growth, activities that carry no assignment, and distractions that slowly assassinate destiny. And then we complain that life passed us by. Life did not pass you by. You leaked it away. Let me expose the lie that has been whispered into your generation. The lie says, I'm just trying to survive. That is a lie. You were not designed to survive. You were designed to govern. Survival is the language of animals, not kings. Another lie says, I'm waiting for my opportunity. No, you are the opportunity. Time was waiting for you, not the other way around. Another lie says, money will fix my life. Money does not fix life. Money exposes life. Give money to a fool and you fund chaos. Give money to a disciplined thinker and you accelerate impact. That's why the problem is never money. The problem is always thinking. Poverty is not lack of money. Poverty is lack of knowledge. And the most expensive ignorance is ignorance of time. We have people today who say, I don't have time, while spending 6 hours scrolling, 4 hours gossiping, and the rest of their energy complaining. Let me submit this to you. You always have time for what you value. Time obeys priorities. Time responds to intention. Time does not respond to wishes. You do not find time, you decide time. Every day you wake up with the same capital allocation, 24 hours. Heaven does not give bonuses. Heaven does not give extensions. Heaven does not do refunds. The difference between legends and victims is not time, it is how time is invested. You see, money is a result, not a resource. Time is the resource. Money is the reward. And when people say money is everything, what they're really confessing is, I have mismanaged time so long that money now controls me. That is slavery. Kingdom citizens don't beg, they decree. But you cannot decree outcomes while tolerating disorder. Kings respect systems. Kings respect seasons. Kings respect timing. That's why the scripture says there is a time and a season for everything, because purpose unfolds on a schedule. Let me submit another truth that will offend casual thinkers. Hard work does not guarantee success. Right work does. Many people are tired because they are working outside of assignment. Busyness is not productivity. Movement is not progress. You can be active and still be unproductive if your activity is not aligned with purpose. You were not born to be busy. You were born to be effective. And effectiveness is measured not by how much you do, but by how much of what you do matters. Never ask the product what it is for. Ask the manufacturer. When a car breaks down, you don't interview the car. You consult the manual. You are a product. You have a manufacturer. And the manufacturer never creates without a timetable. Your life has deadlines, seasons, windows, and moments. Miss the window and you delay the manifestation. That's why procrastination is not a time issue. Procrastination is a purpose issue. When purpose is clear, discipline is natural. Let me talk to you about money for a moment, because many people are uncomfortable when kingdom teachers address economics. Money is not evil. Money is a tool. Money is neutral. Money is a slave. But if you do not master time, money will master you. People chase money because they fear time. They are afraid of aging, afraid of dying empty, afraid of being irrelevant. So they substitute accumulation for fulfillment. They build bank accounts, but never build legacy. They build income streams, but never build purpose streams. And then, at the end of life, they realize they were rich in money, but bankrupt in meaning. The wealthiest place on earth is not the bank. It is the cemetery. Inside graves are books never written, businesses never started, songs never sung, inventions never built, solutions never delivered. Why? Not because people lacked money, but because they misused time. Everything God created is full, but looks empty. A seed looks insignificant, but it contains forest. You don't look like what you carry, but what you carry is on a timer. Seeds have seasons. Delay planting, and the harvest never comes. Let me expose another lie. My circumstances define me. No, your design defines your circumstances. Circumstances are temporary. Design is permanent. You are not a victim of time. You are a steward of time. Time does not control you. You are assigned to manage it. That's why the manufacturer judges you by specifications, not excuses. God will never ask you how hard life was. He will ask you what you did with what you were given. Your job is what you're paid for. Your purpose is what you're made for. Don't confuse the two. Many people are climbing the ladder fast, but it's leaning against the wrong building. They are successful but unfulfilled, wealthy but empty, busy but unproductive. Because success without purpose is failure in disguise. Money without meaning becomes a burden. Time without purpose becomes torture. You are not a beggar trying to get into heaven. You are royalty trying to remember your original authority. You were manufactured in the image of a king, which makes you a king. Kings don't waste time. Kings schedule wars. Kings plan economies. Kings understand that every moment must serve the throne. And when you start thinking like royalty, you stop killing time and start investing it. Let me pause here and submit this truth. You don't need more money, you need more clarity. Clarity creates focus. Focus creates discipline. Discipline multiplies time. And multiplied time eventually produces resources. The tragedy is not that life is short. The tragedy is that most people live too distracted to notice it. If this is unsettling you, good. That discomfort is not condemnation. It is awakening. You were not born to drift. You were born to deliver something to your generation. Time is demanding your contribution. Money is simply the receipt. And I haven't even started yet. You see, the most dangerous thing that can happen to a human being is not failure, it is success without understanding time. Because success gives you options, and options without purpose become distractions. Many people didn't lose their destiny in hardship, they lost it in comfort. They finally made money, finally got stability, finally got freedom, and then they stopped respecting time. They assumed tomorrow was guaranteed. Let me submit to you that tomorrow is not promised, but opportunity is always timed. Another lie we were taught is, I need to find myself. That is nonsense. You don't find what was never lost. You don't need discovery, you need recovery. You need to remember your original design. Identity is not something you invent. It is something you uncover. An identity determines how you spend time. When you don't know who you are, you rent your time out cheaply. When you know who you are, you protect your hours fiercely. Let me destroy another false belief. I am a product of my environment. No. Your environment is waiting for you to change it. You were not sent to earth to blend in. You were sent to dominate problems. That's why you feel uncomfortable with mediocrity. That's why routine bores you. That's why shallow conversations exhaust you. That's why you feel restless when you're not growing. That restlessness is not rebellion. It is design friction. You were built for more than maintenance. You were built for impact. The manufacturer principle says, never ask the product what it's for. Ask the manufacturer. And the manufacturer says, you were not born to find a job. You were born to solve a problem. Problems create demand. Demand attracts resources. Resources follow value. And value is produced when time is invested in purpose. That means money chases purpose, not the other way around. When you pursue money without purpose, you will always be running. When you pursue purpose, money eventually looks for you. Everything created is full, but looks empty. You don't look like what you carry. You may look ordinary, but you are carrying extraordinary assignment. An assignment has deadlines. Miss the deadline, and the world suffers loss. That's why procrastination is theft. You are not stealing from God. You are stealing from future generations who needed what you were supposed to deliver. Let me talk about potential. Because potential is time sensitive. The wealthiest place on earth is the graveyard. That is not poetry, that is policy. Potential untapped is destiny aborted. And the saddest sound in eternity is not crying, it is regret. I wish I had started earlier. I wish I had believed myself. I wish I had stopped listening to people who never understood me. Time heard those wishes, but time does not respond to regret. Time responds only to obedience. Your job is what you're paid for. Your purpose is what you're made for. And here's where many people get confused. They think quitting their job will activate purpose. No. Purpose is not rebellion. It is alignment. You can work a job and still walk in purpose if your job is funding your assignment. The problem is not employment. The problem is confusion. Don't let your profession replace your purpose. Use your profession to finance it. Kings think generationally. Slaves think monthly. Slaves ask, how much do I get paid? Kings ask, what does this build? When you shift from paycheck thinking to legacy thinking, time becomes sacred. You stop wasting years chasing applause. You stop negotiating with fear. You stop tolerating distractions that do not serve destiny. Let me give you a picture. Consider a seed. The seed looks dead. It is buried. It is hidden. It is silent. But inside that seed is a forest. If the seed refuses the ground, it never multiplies. A seed must die to become a tree. You must die to who you were told to become who you were designed to be. What feels like loss is actually release. What looks like delay is often preparation. Time in the soil is not punishment, it is processing. I once met a man who worked a job he hated for 20 years. He said, I'm just waiting for retirement. But every day he complained, he drained time of meaning. One day he discovered that his real assignment was teaching young men discipline and leadership. He didn't quit his job. He started mentoring in the evenings. That mentoring turned into a program. That program turned into an institution. Today he has impacted thousands. The difference was not money, it was decision. He stopped wasting evenings and started investing them. Stop. Before I continue, I need to interrupt your thinking. Let me ask you something, and I need you to be honest. Are you living your purpose, or are you just making a living? Are you investing time, or are you spending it? Are you busy, or are you productive? If something is stirring in you right now, that dissatisfaction is not depression. That is potential knocking on the door of your consciousness saying, let me out. The reason this message bothers you is because you refuse to die with your music still inside you. You cannot change what you tolerate. You cannot fix what you deny. The first stage is waking up. Where you are is not where you belong. The second stage is remembering you are not trying to become something new. You are trying to recover something original. Stop building an identity and start recovering your design. The third stage is decision. Potential without decision is cemetery material. And the fourth stage is action. Knowledge without action is decorated ignorance. You were not born to pay bills. You were not born to survive weekends. You were not born to count years. You were born to count impact. You were born to govern time, not be consumed by it. Stop asking, can I? Start declaring, I must. Stop saying one day. Start saying, starting now. Listen to me carefully now. I'm not speaking to who you are. I'm speaking to who you're becoming. Something is shifting. You thought money was everything. Wrong. Time is everything. You believed success was accumulation. Wrong. Success is fulfillment of assignment. Your birth was not accidental. It was strategic. Heaven had a problem only your design could solve. That's why you're different. That's why normal never satisfied you. You were manufactured to bring value into time. You were designed to turn moments into legacy. You were created to leave earth better than you found it. And I declare to you today that the graveyard will not get your ideas, your vision, your solutions, your books, your businesses, your innovations. You will not die full. You will die empty. So what do you do now? Number one, audit your time. Write down where your hours are going. Time reveals priorities. Number two, identify your assignment. What problem do you feel born to solve? Number three, start now. Not when you feel ready, not when conditions are perfect. The graveyard is full of, I'll do it later. You were not born to be a copy. You were born to be an original. The world is waiting for what only you carry. Die empty, leave nothing buried, give earth everything heaven put inside you. If this awakens something in you, share it with someone still sleeping. Your assignment is not finished. It is just beginning. And let me submit to you that the reason many people feel overwhelmed is not because life is heavy, but because they are carrying things that were never assigned to them. Time was never designed to be cluttered with obligations that do not align with purpose. Stress is often the signal that you are spending time where you were never authorized to invest it. Peace is not the absence of pressure. Peace is the confidence that your time is aligned with your assignment. When you are in purpose, fatigue has meaning. When you are outside of purpose, even rest cannot restore you. The manufacturer never designed you to chase money. Money was designed to chase value. And value is not measured by popularity or applause. Value is measured by problem-solving capacity. The reason the world rewards certain people disproportionately is not favoritism, it is alignment. They discovered the intersection between their design and a problem that demands resolution. When purpose meets demand, compensation becomes inevitable. That's why money is not everything, but everything responds to purpose expressed through time. Let me submit another kingdom law. Time multiplies what you honor. Honor distractions, and distraction multiplies. Honor fear, and fear expands. Honor purpose, and purpose accelerates. Time does not judge. Time reflects. It simply mirrors what you respect. This is why you must guard your mornings, because mornings are wombs. What you plant early shapes what you harvest later. Kings don't wake up reacting. Kings wake up governing. The first voice you listen to in the day often determines the direction of your authority. Many people say, I don't know my purpose. That is rarely true. Most people know exactly what they were born to do, but they are afraid of the responsibility attached to it. Purpose demands discipline. Purpose demands focus. Purpose demands saying no to good things so you can say yes to the right thing, and that's uncomfortable. So instead of admitting fear, we pretend confusion. Confusion is often fear in disguise. Let me talk about assignment versus activity again, because this is where time is either redeemed or wasted. Activity is movement without meaning. Assignment is movement with mandate. Activity drains energy. Assignment releases energy. Activity makes you tired. Assignment makes you fulfilled even when you are exhausted. That's how you know when you're aligned. When you can be tired but not discouraged, strained but not empty, pressured but not broken, that is the difference between laboring and functioning. The greatest tragedy is not death, it is life without purpose. And life without purpose always mismanages time. You start measuring years instead of measuring impact. You start celebrating birthdays instead of celebrating contribution. You start counting age instead of counting legacy. But kingdom citizens measure time differently. We don't ask, how old am I? We ask, how much have I delivered? You are a spirit being having a human experience. That means time was given to your body, not to your spirit. Your spirit is eternal. Your body is on a lease. That lease expires, and the manufacturer will not renew it based on intentions. He renews nothing. He evaluates everything. An evaluation is not emotional, it is functional. Did you do what I designed you to do with the time I gave you? That is the only question that matters. This is why the graveyard warning must be repeated until it disturbs you. The wealthiest place on earth is the cemetery, not because people were evil, not because they were lazy, but because they postponed obedience, they delayed execution. They waited for confidence instead of acting in faith. Faith is not belief. Faith is action aligned with conviction. Confidence follows obedience, not the other way around. Let me tell you about the eagle. The eagle is born with wings, but raised among chickens, it will die scratching the ground. Not because it lacked wings, but because it never challenged its environment. You can die with everything you need to fly simply because you never questioned what surrounded you. Time does not correct environments, people do. And if you do not change your environment will steal your time. Consider this. What if the greatest ideas in history were never released because their carriers were too busy surviving to obey? What if cures, systems, books, strategies, and innovations died silent because someone said, I'll do it later? Later is the language of the graveyard. Heaven does not speak later. Heaven speaks now. The kingdom of God is not coming. It is present. And present things require present action. Listen carefully now, because we are approaching the moment of decision. You cannot pray your way out of time mismanagement. You cannot fast your way out of procrastination. You cannot confess your way out of disobedience. Prayer is alignment, not escape. Fasting sharpens clarity, not replaces action. Confession acknowledges truth, but action applies it. And application is where destiny is unlocked. I am not speaking to your emotions. I am speaking to your government. You were created to rule territory, not moods. And the first territory you must govern is time. If you cannot rule hours, you will never rule resources. If you cannot manage minutes, you will never manage money. If you cannot discipline days, you will never steward destiny. Let me speak prophetically now, because teaching without activation is incomplete. Listen to me. I am not speaking to who you are. I am speaking to who you are becoming. I see clarity replacing confusion. I see focus replacing distraction. I see discipline replacing delay. I see courage replacing fear. I see assignments waking up that you buried under excuses. I see mornings reclaimed. I see habits breaking. I see people walking away from time thieves. I see decisions being made that will rewrite family history. You thought you were late. Wrong. You were right on time. You thought you missed it. Wrong. You were being prepared. You thought your delays disqualified you. Wrong. They refined you. Your birth was not accidental. It was calculated. Heaven studied history and said, this problem requires this person at this time. That's why you are alive now. That's why you are hearing this now. Timing is intelligence. You were manufactured for impact. You were designed for relevance. You were created to convert time into legacy. And I declare over you today that procrastination will no longer dominate you. Distraction will no longer rule you. Fear will no longer negotiate with your obedience. The seeds inside you will not die with you. Your ideas will breathe. Your vision will speak. Your assignment will manifest. Now hear me as a father instructing an heir. What do you do now? Number one, conduct a ruthless audit of your time. Write it down. Don't guess. Measure it. What you measure improves. Where is your life leaking hours? Number two, define your assignment in one sentence, not a paragraph, one sentence. If you can't define it, you can't execute it. Number three, restructure your days around purpose, not convenience. Convenience is the enemy of kings. Number four, act immediately, not perfectly, immediately. Perfectionism is fear wearing a tuxedo. You were not born to be busy. You were not born to be average. You were not born to be distracted. You were born to solve a problem your generation cannot solve without you. And time is waiting for your obedience. The empty, leave nothing buried. Give earth everything heaven put inside you. If this message awakened you, pass it to someone still asleep. Your assignment is not over. It is just beginning.